5 signs you are dealing with an evil person. It's a harsh reality, but some individuals in our lives take pleasure in causing harm and chaos. Consider this. You might be sharing moments and building trust with someone, only to discover that they are the very source of your turmoil. Today, we will delve into a fascinating and unsettling topic, recognizing the signs that you are dealing with an evil person. Whether it is a colleague, a friend, or even a family member, these individuals often master the art of deception, hiding their true nature behind charm and charisma. Our exploration of this darker side of human behavior is not driven by mere curiosity. Understanding these signs can be life-changing. The ancient Stoic philosophers emphasized the power of perception and the importance of living a life guided by reason and virtue. Identifying and comprehending these toxic traits, we can protect our peace of mind and foster healthier relationships. Staying true to the Stoic principles of wisdom and self-control, we invite you to join us as we uncover 5 telltale signs of a person with evil intentions. By the end of this video, you will be better equipped to recognize these behaviors and learn practical strategies to safeguard your mental health and well-being. If you appreciate what we are doing here, please click the subscribe button. Please do not skip any part of the video. You will not want to miss our special bonus section, where I will share an effective strategy for setting firm boundaries with these individuals. Let us embark on this journey of self-awareness and resilience together as we navigate the complexities of those who may initially appear charming and charismatic. It is crucial to appreciate that appearances can be profoundly misleading. These individuals can illuminate any space they enter, casting a warm glow that makes those around them feel uniquely appreciated and cherished. They have an uncanny knack for saying just the right words, creating an illusion that you have stumbled upon an instant, lifelong friendship. At first glance, they exude an aura of perfection, witty, engaging, and seemingly invested in your life story. It is easy to be enchanted by their charm, leading you to believe you have encountered someone genuinely extraordinary. However, the ancient Stoic philosophers remind us to penetrate this surface-level allure and pursue the more profound truths through careful observation and rational reflection. As time unfolds, you may start to discern subtle fissures in their polished exterior. Perhaps they perpetually vie for the spotlight, eclipsing others in social interactions. You might notice them interrupting your stories, deftly overshadowing your thoughts, or even subtly deriding you in front of the group. What may seem like quirky behavior or extroverted tendencies are in fact red flags. Imagine yourself at a lively gathering where this person is undeniably the star of the evening, spinning tales and eliciting laughter from the crowd. Initially, it feels exhilarating to be enveloped in their magnetic presence. Yet as the night unfolds, their dominance in conversation becomes evident. They steer every dialogue back to their own experiences, rendering yours nearly invisible. This is where the Stoic principle of apathy, a state of emotional tranquility undisturbed by external chaos, emerges as a vital tool. By maintaining your equilibrium, you can pierce through their charming facade and uncover the self-centeredness lurking beneath. It is equally essential to observe their reactions when faced with adversity. A genuinely kind and compassionate person will approach disappointments and disagreements with grace and empathy. In stark contrast, someone merely playing a role to win your trust may respond with explosive anger or defensiveness, their demeanor shifting like a stormy sky. They might lash out or attempt to manipulate circumstances to regain some semblance of control. According to Stoic wisdom, such explosive reactions clearly indicate a lack of noble character, revealing their true nature. Marcus Aurelius, the esteemed philosopher-emperor, offers a timeless warning. Be cautious of those who wear their anger and manipulation like a second skin, Such traits are not the hallmarks of a rational and virtuous individual. The essence of his wisdom lies in the power of patience and intuition. Ancient Stoic philosophers championed the ability to observe keenly, advocating for a thoughtful approach, rather than hasty conclusions drawn from fleeting impressions. Consider the teachings of Epictetus, a steadfast guide in the journey toward self-mastery, who advised us to carefully evaluate the character of those we allow into our inner circle. If someone appears almost too captivating to be genuine, grant yourself the precious gift of time to observe their true nature as it reveals itself. Please pay attention to how they engage with others, particularly when they believe they are not being watched. Authentic character shines brightest in moments when individuals are not performing for an audience. Be mindful that charm and charisma can sometimes mask ulterior motives. Some individuals wield their allure as a means of manipulation. By staying grounded and aware, you can fortify yourself against the snares of an enchanting facade. Upholding Stoic principles of wisdom and discernment will enhance your ability to navigate the intricate web of social interactions. Another crucial indicator to recognize is the absence of empathy, an essential human trait that allows us to connect with the emotions of others. Empathy enables us to forge deep connections, offer solace when needed, and nurture meaningful relationships. Yet among us are those who seem entirely devoid of this vital quality. They act without regard for the impact of their words or actions, often inflicting significant harm on those around them. The ancient Stoics held compassion and understanding in high regard as foundational virtues. Marcus Aurelius, in particular, frequently contemplated the profound interconnectedness of humanity, emphasizing that the well-being of one is inextricably linked to the well-being of all. Thus, when you encounter someone who blatantly disregards the feelings of others, it serves as a significant red flag. Imagine confiding in a close friend, pouring your heart out about a deeply personal struggle, desperately seeking warmth and understanding, only to be met with a chilling wave of indifference or even mocking laughter. Such a reaction starkly illuminates a disheartening absence of empathy, casting a shadow over the soul. It's a harsh reminder of the necessity to identify and distance ourselves from those who trivialize our vulnerabilities. This profound lack of empathy can create a suffocating sense of isolation, leaving us feeling profoundly misunderstood. It isn't merely that they vanish in our moments of distress. It's also about their unwillingness to share in our joy or celebrate our triumphs. A person who cannot access empathy will remain silent in our victories and may even cast doubt on our achievements, diminishing their worth. Consider a boss who mercilessly drives their team to the brink of exhaustion, disregarding their mental and physical well-being. This manager extracts long hours with little to no acknowledgement or reward, flatly dismissing requests for even a moment of respite and humiliating employees with a cruel and mocking tone rather than offering guidance. Such conduct cultivates a toxic atmosphere where individuals feel belittled and overwhelmed, akin to delicate plants wilting under an unrelenting sun, craving nourishment but receiving only barrenness. In these challenging scenarios, the ancient Stoic philosophers would urge us to cling steadfastly to our inner peace and unwavering moral integrity. They would remind us that another person's deficiency in empathy reflects their character, not ours. Even more troubling is how the absence of empathy can pave the way for deeply sinister behaviors. Individuals struggling to connect with the emotions of others may engage in shockingly cruel actions, unburdened by guilt or remorse. They might lie, cheat, or inflict harm in cold detachment, their moral compass utterly misaligned. Seneca, the wise Roman statesman, emphasized the immeasurable significance of kindness and justice, advocating that our actions should align with our inner virtues. When people lack empathy, they drift away from these essential values, becoming lost in a moral desert. Even in the seemingly mundane exchanges of daily life, signs of this empathy deficit can be striking. Picture someone who incessantly interrupts conversations, transforming every dialogue into a monologue about their experiences, oblivious to the thoughts and feelings of those around them. They may dismiss the desperate requests for help from a friend in crisis, brushing aside these moments as unworthy of their attention. While these behaviors may initially appear as minor annoyances, they accumulate and reveal a troubling pattern, a stark and unsettling glimpse into the essence of a person's character. The ancient Stoics remind us to remain observant and discerning, as subtle signs often indicate a significant disconnect in a person's capacity for empathy. Suppose you're involved with someone who consistently demonstrates a lack of empathy. In that case, it is essential to establish firm boundaries to protect your own mental and emotional well-being, shielding your spirit from their negative influence. The Stoic philosophers emphasize the importance of maintaining our well-being and not allowing others' negativity to disrupt our inner peace. Recognizing your right to distance yourself from individuals who drain your energy and bring you down is crucial. A defining characteristic of a toxic person is their inclination to manipulate. Manipulation entails using deceitful or cunning tactics to control or influence others for personal gain. This behavior is often subtle and insidious, causing significant harm to those affected. Manipulators are skilled at twisting situations, leading you to question your reality and bending your will to suit their desires. This can leave you feeling confused, powerless, and uncertain about your judgments. From a Stoic perspective, it is essential to regard manipulation critically. The Stoics valued clarity of thought and the ability to perceive reality accurately, advocating for steadfast adherence to our principles despite external pressures. When someone manipulates you, they aim to obscure your perception and distort reality, thereby complicating your efforts to remain faithful to these Stoic ideals. A prevalent form of manipulation is gaslighting. When a manipulative individual tries to make you doubt your memory, perception, or sanity, they might deny that certain events occurred or twist your words and actions to shift blame onto you. For instance, if you confront a friend about something hurtful they said, they might redirect the conversation. Instead of acknowledging their remark, they might redirect the conversation, accusing you of being overly sensitive or misremembering the situation. Manipulators possess a cunning ability to chip away at your self-assurance, subtly weaving their version of reality into your mind until you find yourself questioning your perceptions. They often take on the guise of the victim, expertly wielding guilt as a weapon to bend your will. Picture a friend who endlessly pours out their troubles, their voice laced with despair, compelling you to drop everything immediately while hardly reciprocating your support. They may use phrases like, "If you truly cared about me," leaving you ensnared in a web of obligation, feeling duty-bound to do their bidding. The ancient Stoic philosophers, particularly Epictetus, taught the invaluable lesson of distinguishing between what lies within our control and what does not. We hold no sway over the actions or feelings of others. Our only domain is how we respond to them. Consider a manipulator's initial flattery. Their charm may draw you in, wrapping you in warm compliments that make you feel unique and cherished. Yet as time passes, you may begin to see through the facade, realizing that these well-intentioned praises come loaded with expectations. Each compliment feels like a chain, binding you to their desires, compelling you to uphold an ideal they impose on you in exchange for their fleeting approval. Manipulation can also disguise itself as a form of isolation. A manipulative individual might endeavor to sever your connections with friends and family, slyly implanting whispers that undermine your support network. They might murmur, "Your friends don't care about you," or "I understand you like no one else can," deepening your dependence on them and transforming their support into a tether that binds you ever closer. This strategy contradicts the Stoic belief in the strength of community, which nourishes us as social beings. Isolation only weakens our resolve and increases our susceptibility to control. Financial manipulation is yet another devious tactic employed by those with malevolent intentions. They might borrow money, promising to pay you back but ultimately vanishing into silence, or they may seize control of your finances entirely, enforcing a system where you must ask permission for even the tiniest expense. This tight grip can barricade your path to independence, making breaking free from the relationship nearly impossible. The Stoics advocated for self-sufficiency and resilience, urging us to cultivate independence that shields us from undue influence by others. Recognizing manipulation can be daunting, especially when your heart is entwined with the individual in question. It requires a vigilant awareness and a steadfast commitment to the principles of self-mastery, ensuring that you remain the captain of your ship amidst the turbulence stirred by those who seek to control you. The ancient Stoic philosophers teach us to be vigilant and discerning, to see things clearly, and to act with integrity. If you suspect someone is manipulating you, take a step back and assess the situation objectively. Are they consistently prioritizing their needs over yours? Do they make you feel guilty or unsure of yourself? Are they trying to control aspects of your life or isolate you from others? It is essential to establish clear boundaries with manipulators and maintain your stance. Communicate clearly and assertively about what you will and will not tolerate. Remember, you have the right to your thoughts, feelings, and actions. The ancient Stoic philosophers remind us that while we cannot dictate how others act, we have the power to manage our responses to them. By cultivating inner strength and clarity, we can protect ourselves from the harmful effects of manipulation and remain steadfast in our values. A prominent indicator of an unethical person is their controlling behavior. This goes beyond mere preferences or idiosyncrasies. It reflects an individual's desire to dominate every aspect of their life, leaving little room for autonomy and independent decision-making. Those who exhibit controlling tendencies often mask their behavior as concern or care, but at its core, it is about power and control. The Stoics, who championed personal freedom and self-discipline, would perceive this kind of behavior as fundamentally at odds with pursuing a virtuous life. Controlling behavior can manifest in various ways. For example, you might encounter a friend who insists on making all the choices about where to go and what activities to engage in together. Although it may initially appear innocuous, you gradually come to recognize that your preferences and opinions are consistently disregarded or overlooked. Phrases like, "I know what's for us," or "You'll enjoy it more if you follow my lead," may be expressed. This dynamic is not rooted in mutual decision-making, but reflects one individual imposing their will on another. In the context of relationships, such controlling behavior can evolve into something far more perilous. A partner may monitor your whereabouts, demand constant updates on your activities, and dictate whom you can or cannot see. They might go through your phone to check your messages, or insist on knowing all your passwords. This kind of surveillance and micromanagement can make you feel trapped and anxious, as if you're constantly walking on eggshells to avoid conflict. The ancient Stoic philosophers, particularly Epictetus, underscored the significance of maintaining inner freedom and autonomy in facing external pressures. Control can also manifest through financial manipulation. A controlling partner or family member might assume responsibility for all economic decisions, dispensing money as they choose, and keeping you financially dependent on them. They may say, "I handle the finances because you're not good with money," or "It's easier for me to take care of everything." Such statements can strip you of your financial independence and make it difficult to leave the relationship or assert your own choices. The ancient Stoic philosophers believed in self-sufficiency and wise resource management, regarding financial control as a form of enslavement that must be resisted. Another manifestation of controlling behavior is isolation. A controlling individual might attempt to sever your connections with friends and family, claiming that they are the only ones who truly understand or care about you. They may criticize your loved ones, saying things like, "Your friends don't care about you," or "Your family is toxic." Over time, you may find yourself increasingly isolated, relying solely on the controlling person for support and companionship. The ancient Stoic philosophers recognized the importance of community and supportive relationships, viewing isolation as detrimental to both personal growth and overall well-being. Controlling individuals often resort to threats and intimidation to maintain their power. They might threaten to leave, harm themselves, or even hurt you if you don't comply with their demands. This creates an environment of fear and anxiety, making it difficult to think clearly or make decisions that are best for you. The ancient Stoic philosophers, especially Seneca, the wise Roman statesman, taught that we should face our fears and not allow others to intimidate us into submission. True courage and wisdom lie in standing firm against such threats and reclaiming our power. It is essential to understand that controlling behavior is about more than just wanting things done a certain way. It is about fundamentally undermining your ability to make your own choices and live your own life. The ancient Stoic philosophers would advise us to recognize these behaviors for what they are: an attack on our autonomy and a violation of our freedom. By staying true to our values and maintaining our inner strength, we can resist the influence of controlling individuals and reclaim our right to live freely. If you find yourself dealing with someone when faced with controlling behavior, it is crucial to establish clear boundaries and assert your independence. Communicate your needs and limits openly, and don't hesitate to seek support from those who understand your circumstances. Remember, as the ancient Stoic philosophers taught, we cannot control others. However, we can govern our reactions and decisions by remaining grounded in our principles and valuing our autonomy. By doing so, we can shield ourselves from the detrimental effects of controlling behavior and lead more authentic, fulfilling lives. Another unmistakable indicator of a harmful individual is pathological lying, which surpasses the occasional white lie that most people might tell. Pathological liars tend to deceive without a clear motive, often and consistently. They create elaborate stories, manipulate facts, and distort reality to meet their interests or to gain an advantage over others. This behavior can severely damage relationships, eroding trust and weaving a complex web of deceit that is challenging to unravel. The ancient Stoic philosophers esteemed truth and integrity above all. They believed that a virtuous life is founded on honesty, and that deceit represents a profound betrayal of one's character. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, championed the idea of living in harmony with nature, urging us to align our actions with the profound tenets of truth and reason. In stark contrast, a pathological liar embodies the antithesis of these principles, fabricating a deceptive world that serves only their selfish desires. The art of pathological lying can manifest in various subtle forms, often beginning with small, seemingly innocuous falsehoods, such as embellishing a mundane story to cast oneself in a more flattering light. However, as time unfolds, these fabrications may spiral out of control, morphing into elaborate deceptions meant to obscure mistakes, manipulate perceptions, and achieve ulterior motives. A pathological liar might claim accolades they have not earned, take undue credit for the hard-won efforts of others, or conjure fictional tales from their past to elicit sympathy or admiration. This relentless web of deception constructs a warped reality, leaving those around them in a perpetual state of uncertainty as they struggle to discern the boundary between truth and fabrication. Consider, for instance, the machinations of a pathological liar in a professional setting. They might distort the truth about their qualifications, inflate their contributions to collaborative projects, or disseminate malicious gossip to undermine colleagues and sabotage their success. Such deceit poisons the workplace atmosphere, fostering a toxic environment where trust erodes and anxiety festers. Employees find themselves on a precarious tightrope, ever vigilant and unsure of whom to believe. The ancient Stoic philosophers counseled us to cling firmly to our integrity, refusing to be swayed by the treacherous actions of others. Epictetus, the steadfast guide on the path to self-mastery, reminded us to focus on what lies within our control, our thoughts and actions, while remaining unperturbed by the dishonesty that swirls around us. In personal relationships, the ramifications of pathological lying can be even more devastating. Picture the emotional turmoil of being with someone who perpetually deceives about their whereabouts, past experiences, or feelings. Such behavior breeds insecurity, anxiety, and a relentless questioning of one's perceptions. You may find yourself doubting your memories or second-guessing your instincts, which is precisely the chaos the liar thrives on. They feed off the confusion and instability they create, keeping you off balance to maintain their grip on control. The ancient Stoic philosophers would urge us to trust our judgment and resist the manipulations of others, reminding us that in a world rife with deception, our internal compass remains our most reliable guide. Seneca, the wise Roman statesman, taught that true peace originates from within and that we must not allow the deceit of others to disturb our inner tranquility. One of the most insidious aspects of pathological lying is its initial difficulty in detection. Pathological liars can be strikingly convincing, delivering their falsehoods with such confidence and detail that it can be challenging to doubt them. They often intertwine truth with lies, further complicating our ability to discern reality. This is where the Stoic principle of vigilance becomes crucial. We must remain observant and critical, seeking the truth through careful examination and evidence, rather than taking things at face value. When you catch someone lying, please pay attention to their response. Do they become defensive or aggressive? Do they attempt to shift the blame onto you? Or do they provide a plausible explanation that may constitute another layer of deceit? A genuinely honest person will acknowledge their mistakes and strive to correct them. At the same time, a pathological liar is likely to double down on their fabrications, weaving an even more intricate web of lies. The ancient Stoic philosophers would advise us to maintain calm and rationality in the face of such behavior, recognizing it for what it is and resisting the urge to be provoked. It is also essential to consider the long-term impact of pathological lying. Over time, such deceit can erode the very foundation of trust upon which relationships are built. Once trust is broken, rebuilding it can be a formidable challenge, leaving you in a state of constant suspicion and doubt, always wondering if you are being deceived again. This situation can create a toxic cycle of mistrust and resentment. The ancient Stoic philosophers underscored the importance of cultivating strong, honest relationships built on mutual respect and understanding. When faced with a pathological liar, you must decide whether it's worth attempting to rebuild that trust or if it's healthier to distance yourself from their toxic influence. If you find yourself entangled with a pathological liar, it's essential to establish firm boundaries and safeguard your mental and emotional well-being. The ancient Stoics would advise us to remain true to our values and principles, resisting the temptation to be swayed by the deceit of others. Be clear about what you will and will not tolerate, and don't hesitate to walk away from a relationship or situation rooted in lies. Remember, your peace of mind and integrity are far more important than maintaining a connection with someone who consistently deceives you. How can you protect yourself from these harmful behaviors while maintaining your peace and integrity? Establishing boundaries is one of the most vital skills you can cultivate when navigating the complex and tumultuous waters of relationships. Boundaries serve as a protective barrier that delineates what behaviors you are willing to accept and what you will firmly reject, acting as guardians of your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. The ancient Stoic philosophers recognized the profound significance of personal integrity and inner peace, viewing boundary setting as a cornerstone of a virtuous and serene life. First and foremost, it's essential to understand that setting boundaries is not synonymous with being harsh or unkind. Rather, it is an expression of self-respect and a way of demanding respect from others. The Stoics held that honoring oneself and aligning with one's true nature are paramount. By articulating clear boundaries, you're not only shielding yourself from harm, but also creating a foundation for healthier, more constructive interactions with those around you. When it comes to laying down these vital boundaries, clarity is paramount. You must clearly articulate the specific behaviors you will not tolerate and communicate this firmly yet assertively. Imagine having a friend who regularly belittles your achievements or dismisses your feelings. A resolute response might be, "I value our friendship, but I cannot accept being treated disrespectfully. If this behavior continues, I will need to distance myself." This approach is straightforward and leaves no room for ambiguity. According to Stoic principles, such clear communication lays a foundation of order and respect within relationships. Consistency is another crucial aspect of boundary setting that you should not overlook. It is insufficient to merely declare your boundaries once and expect everyone to adhere to them indefinitely. You must be prepared to actively enforce these boundaries actively, even when doing so feels uncomfortable or challenging. The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus, a beacon of resilience and self-mastery, taught the virtues of discipline and perseverance. By steadfastly upholding your boundaries, you demonstrate an unwavering sense of self-respect and teach others how to honor your limits. If someone consistently crosses your boundaries despite your clear communication, it signals a profound lack of respect for you and your needs. In such cases, it may be necessary to reevaluate the dynamics of that relationship. Additionally, remember that establishing boundaries is not a one-time endeavor, but a continuous journey that evolves as relationships change. Embrace this process, which is a crucial step towards nurturing a life filled with respect, dignity, and authentic connections. Your boundaries may need to be adjusted depending on your environment. For example, in a workplace setting, it's essential to establish limits around your availability and workload to prevent burnout. You might tell a colleague or supervisor, "I am happy to assist with this project, but I cannot take on additional tasks beyond my current responsibilities." Ancient Stoic philosophers advised us to balance our duties and avoid overextending ourselves at the expense of our well-being. One of the most challenging aspects of setting boundaries is managing the pushback or resistance you may encounter. Individuals who are accustomed to having their way, particularly those with controlling or manipulative tendencies, may not respond positively to your newfound assertiveness. They might react with anger, guilt trips, or even attempts to undermine your confidence. The Stoics teach us to remain calm and steadfast in the face of these challenges. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, emphasize the importance of maintaining our composure and not being swayed by the negative emotions of others. When faced with resistance, staying firm and reminding yourself that your boundaries are vital for your well-being is crucial. Sometimes, setting boundaries may necessitate making difficult decisions, such as distancing yourself from specific individuals or even ending toxic relationships. This can be a painful process, but it is crucial for maintaining your mental and emotional well-being. The Stoic philosophers would remind us that our primary responsibility lies in upholding our virtue and well-being. Seneca, the wise Roman philosopher, often emphasized the importance of choosing our associations wisely, recognizing that the company we keep can profoundly influence our character and happiness. By distancing ourselves from those who consistently violate our boundaries, we make a powerful statement about our self-worth and commitment to living a virtuous life. Seeking support from others when setting boundaries can also be invaluable. This could involve discussing your experiences with trusted friends, family members, or a therapist to gain their input and encouragement. Sharing your struggles and successes in boundary setting can provide valuable perspective and strengthen your resolve. The ancient Stoic philosophers valued community and the support of like-minded individuals. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, frequently reflected on humanity's interconnectedness and the importance of mutual support. By leaning on your support network, you can find the strength to uphold your boundaries and maintain your well-being. Additionally, practicing self-care is essential when establishing and maintaining boundaries. It includes taking time for yourself, engaging in activities that bring you joy and relaxation, and nurturing both your physical and mental health. The ancient Stoic philosophers believed in the vital role of self-care as a cornerstone for living a virtuous life. Epictetus, a resilient teacher of self-mastery, emphasized the necessity of caring for our well-being to serve others and fulfill our responsibilities effectively. By prioritizing self-care, you affirm that your well-being is essential and worthy of protection. Remember, setting boundaries is a form of self-respect and self-love. It involves recognizing your value and refusing to let others undermine it. The teachings of the ancient Stoics remind us that our worth is not defined by external circumstances, but rather by our actions and integrity. By establishing and maintaining boundaries, you embody these principles and cultivate a life of peace, virtue, and resilience. Your peace and integrity are precious and must be safeguarded, regardless of your external challenges. Establishing boundaries is not simply a defensive tactic. It is a powerful declaration of your self-worth and a commitment to living in alignment with your values. Thank you for joining me today as part of Stoic Journal. If you found this discussion helpful, please explore one of the suggested videos on the screen for additional insights. Stay strong, stay wise, and continue living your truth.